What about second breakfast?
Time for second breakfast.
What's up, everybody? Monster from Breakdowns for Breakfast here with another second breakfast. I took the family to see Weird Al Yankovic, and it was awesome. It was a little bit spur of the moment. My wife and I had talked about it a couple of times, and I don't know exactly why, but we sort of just didn't pull the trigger until we finally did a day before the show. But it was a lot of fun. So essentially, Weird Al Yankovic is on this tour. I think it's called the Bigger and Weirder Tour. And it's if you know anything about Weird Al, he's kind of gone back and forth with these different styles of tours over the years. He's done these things called the Vanity Tour, where he basically picks what he wants to play, and you don't necessarily always get the hits like Amish Paradise and Smells Like Nirvana. Like, you're going to get some more of like the style parodies and some deeper cuts that, you know, he would prefer to play. This is more of a traditional show. He's going to play Fat and Eat It and Tacky and White and Nerdy, like all the big hits that everybody knows. And so this was a really good one to take my kids to, and my wife as well, because I am obviously the biggest Weird Al fan in my family, but my kids do enjoy his stuff a lot, and Sarah as well, just over the years playing stuff and watching music videos and stuff. She's seen a ton and thinks a lot of it's funny too. So we decided that we were going to go do this kind of, like I said, kind of last minute. And so I decided to go to the box office because the concert was here in Greensboro. So I was able to go to the box office as opposed to having to pay for tickets online. Now, I just recently did the whole thing about Blue Dot Fever and Ticketmaster and Live Nation and all the fees and stuff. So I won't harp on that too much. But what I will say is the tickets that I bought were $77 on Ticketmaster.com. They were $54 a piece at the box office, if that tells you anything about how much this stuff costs. Bear with me, my cat's being difficult. So if anybody watching this on YouTube as opposed to just listening to it will tell I'm in a different location than usual. I'm sitting out at the kitchen table, which means the cats are abound. So if I get a special guest, Fuzzball, you'll know why. But these were pretty good seats. We were in section 113, row DD, which was like the fourth row back. So, and there was nobody in front of us either. So, you know, there was nothing obstructing our view or anything. But we were essentially like lower level, just 4 rows up from the floor, and right as the arena kind of turned. So we were almost like facing the front of the stage. We were slightly at an angle, but great seats. And like I said, they were only $54 a piece, so it really wasn't too bad for a show like this. So we did not tell the kids. We just told them we were going to a show. Well, we didn't even tell them that. We told them we were going to go do something fun. But, of course, my 7-year-old is just dying to know what it is. But we never told him. We kept it a complete secret. And we really didn't know. You know, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he asked if we had told them what we were doing, and I said no. I said, but I have fully prepared myself for when we walk in and she realizes it's Weird Al, for them to be like, great, awesome, and not be excited at all, which is almost what happened. But when we got in to the arena, we did see some Weird Al shirts and stuff, and she started, my 7-year-old specifically was like, are we here to see Weird Al? And I said, hold on, let's see. And when we rounded the corner, we saw like the merch display with all the t-shirts, and I was like, yeah, we're here to see Weird Al. And she did kind of like a, okay. Like, you know, she wasn't super stoked. But I will say that once the concert got going, both my 7-year-old and my 4-year-old were actually really, really pretty much into it from start to finish. There was a couple moments where they started to get like a little bit restless, you know, like because of their age and stuff. If they don't know the song, they're not quite as engaged. But the cool thing about this Weird Al performance was not only did he play the hits that, you know, we all knew, my kids knew as well, but he also did like the wardrobe changes, and in between songs he would play like video clips from, okay, so when I was growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, Weird Al used to do this thing on MTV called Al TV, where they basically just gave him a block of hours to do whatever the hell he wanted with, and he would play music videos, sometimes his videos, sometimes other people's videos, but one of the highlights were these fake interviews where he would take, you know, Madonna or Prince or Michael Stipe from REM and play their responses while he did like made up questions, and they were so funny. So in between songs, whenever Al was doing like a wardrobe change or something, they would post that up on the screen to kind of you know, so there was never a dull moment. There was always something to look at, and it was always a lot of fun. Backtrack real quick. The opening act was a guy named Puddles Pity Party, and he's a clown that I had seen some clips of. I think he was on America's Got Talent, and I had seen some clips and was not impressed. A matter of fact, we were eating dinner before we went to the Coliseum, and I kind of said, like, yeah, I'd like to get there before the show starts, of course, but if we miss a little bit of the opener, I don't think that'll be a problem. I am so glad we did not miss any of Puddles. He was very fun. All I'd ever seen, like, clips of him was he's a sad clown. So he sings popular songs, but looks like a sad clown. And, okay, that's fine. Just doesn't do much for me. But actually seeing his performance, there was a lot more to it than that. It was very much... it made sense as an opener for Weird Al. I'll put it that way. A couple of the standout things that he did was at one point, they played the music from Stairway to Heaven as he sang the lyrics to the Gilligan's Island theme song while showing clips of Waterworld on the big screens. Like, it's so surreal and absurdist that it ends up being hilarious. One of the funniest was, he also brought some people up on stage to do silly things too. And at one point he brought, I'm not, from where we were sitting, I'm not sure if it was a little boy or a little girl, but probably 10, 12 years old, and had them pretend to play guitar. The song that was playing was Crazy Train. And while he was singing the lyrics to Crazy Train, the video was showing like the most aesthetically unpleasant things you can think of. And it was so funny. Like, me and my wife, we're all screaming. The rest of the crowd is screaming. Like, there's a part where he's like drawing straight. You see like a piece of paper and a ruler and a pen, and it's like two perfectly straight lines. And then the third one goes all over the page. Or the one that really cracked me up was there was a picture of a bowl, like a glass bowl, and they had a bag of Skittles and a bag of M&Ms, and they were pouring them in at the same time. Like, stuff like that, you know. So I thought he was really good. So after he was done, Weird Al actually started a little bit before 9. So the doors were at 7, show was at 8, and started right on time. And Puddles played till maybe 8:35, 8:40. Weird Al came on before 9. It was like 8:50 or something. It was a real quick turnover. And it was really cool the way the show starts. It plays a little video where he's basically Godzilla or King Kong smashing up a city. But when the actual like music starts, it shows him on the big screen singing somewhere. He's like deep backstage at the Greensboro Coliseum. So he starts back there, and they do the song Tacky. And if you've ever seen the music video for Tacky, it's a great music video. It's essentially a bunch of famous comedians dressed outlandishly dancing and singing along to the song Tacky, which it's one take. So it starts with Al, and then he kind of moves out of the frame, and another comedian comes in, and it's just one long continuous take. It's really, really cool to watch. So he basically does a live version of that. He starts in the green room backstage, walks all the way through like all the hallways, and then comes out on the stage. And man, I'm going to be honest. when this happened, when he finally came around the corner and was walking towards the stage, I got a little choked up. I got a little teary-eyed. I was like, it's Al, man. Like, I've been listening to Weird Al since as long as I can remember. My dad was showing me Weird Al when I was a super little kid, and now I'm showing my, little kids Weird Al. And it was just a little bit of an emotional thing there at the beginning, and it was really cool. And so he comes out, and it's great. He's had the same band pretty much from the get-go. On guitar, bass, and drums, it's the same three guys that he's had for like 40, 50 years. I'm trying to think. I know I'm going to butcher all their names. I know it's John Schwartz on drums, Steve West on guitar, and oh gosh, I should have wrote it down. But great, super tight. They've been playing together for super long time, so they're very tight and they sounded great. But he also had some backup musicians that were playing that are on this tour with him. And again, I should have wrote her name down, but there was one young lady who actually graduated from University of North Carolina of Greensboro just a couple years ago, like 2023 maybe. And she was like, she played guitar, she sang, I think she played some piano, and we actually have some mutual friends because she also plays in a Fleetwood Mac tribute band out of Charlotte, North Carolina. So it was really cool to see, and she was phenomenal. She was one of the best parts of the show because she was having the time of her life. Her energy was so infectious. She was having so much fun. She was bouncing all over the place. My wife and my kids were loving watching her. She was a lot of fun. And honestly, the whole show was a lot of fun. There was one funny hiccup that it was friend of the show, David, was also there. He wasn't sitting with us though. And during this next thing I'm about to tell you, we were texting each other like, is this a bit? Is this a joke or is this like for real? Because what happened was they started to play the song eBay, which if you don't know that one, it's a parody of the song I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys. And when it first started, the guitar line's playing and Weird Al starts singing and you can see his face on the screens. He's like kind of making a face, shaking his head. He's like, hold on, I think we need a key change. And so they start like fiddling around, and I can't remember if Wes changes guitars or just tunes for a minute, and they do so they start to play the song again, but it's still not right. And so Weird Al's like, hold on, let's get a different guitar or something. And then they start to play a clip on the screen from like and he's like, no, don't show that, we're not there yet. And he was like, should we skip this song? And I was like, this has got to be a joke, right? Like this doesn't happen, right? Well, the thing that convinced me that this was not a joke was they switched guitars, they start playing the intro again, the crowd gets into it, and he starts singing, and then they play the whole song. If this was a bit, I feel like it would have like escalated into some sort of silly punchline, but instead they just play the song. So I was talking to Matt Kelly from Weird Algorithm podcast, and he was saying that he's been, following the tour, and he says there's been a few of those kind of hiccups throughout the tour, which, hey, it does not matter what level that you are at. I mean, technical difficulties happen, whether you're playing in clubs and bars or coliseums and stadiums. It's just the nature of the, live music thing. So it was charming. It was honestly one of my favorite parts of the show because you could see them being like, okay, what do we do here? We're in front of, 15,000 people. Like, let's get our shit together and play this song or not play this song. Like, what are we doing? It was really cool. Some other highlights were he did Fat, and he actually came out in the Michael Jackson fat suit, and it was awesome. He did great. I think he's 64 now, and he's just running all over the stage like he was in his 20s. I mean, he really put on a good show. There was when he did White and Nerdy, he actually came out on a Segway, which was kind of fun. The very end, there was like a typical thing where, all the lights go out and he comes up for an encore. And one of the parts of the encore was kind of interesting. It was The Saga Begins, the song about the Phantom Menace Star Wars movie. And he had, I don't know, 10 people dressed in full Star Wars costumes. There were stormtroopers. There was Darth Vader. That was really cool to look at. And he actually performed a little over 2 hours. It was a full-on thing. And like I said, my 7-year-old and my 4-year-old hung in there the whole time. I caught my 7-year-old singing along to a few of the songs she knew the words to. They were both dancing in their seats a little bit. My wife and I were laughing a lot. It was a really good time. We really, really enjoyed it. If you've never seen Weird Al in concert, I would highly recommend doing so. Not to be whatever about it, but he is in his 60s. He's already said he's probably never going to do another traditional album. I don't know how many more tours he's going to really do. I mean, he's at a point in his life now. He does voices for a lot of cartoon shows, guest appearances, that kind of thing. He doesn't have to keep touring if he doesn't want to. So I would recommend checking him out live if you ever get a chance, because it is a fun, good time. This is the second time I've seen him. I saw him once before. My dad took me to see him, and I know we did the episode Running with Scissors. I probably had the date on there. I can't remember, but it was probably in the late 90s, early 2000s, around that time when I saw him. So this was great. It was really cool. That was in the back of my mind. My dad taking me, and now I'm taking my kids. It's really cool. It was a lot of fun. Again, if you've never seen Weird Al in concert, go do it. But yeah, if you have seen Weird Al in concert, what did you think? Do you think Weird Al's funny? That's another thing that I hear people discuss, is if he even is funny or whatever. I love him. I think he's great, and the kids loved it. We all had a great time, and I just wanted to share that with you. So I hope you have a great day.